Former President Donald Trump back in D.C. today. He'll be in a courtroom next hour. His lawyer is set to argue that he is immune from prosecution for election interference because he was president at the time of the January 6th insurrection. Bob's following the story. He's outside the courthouse in Northwest D.C. with more about today's hearing. Not a requirement for the former president to be there today, right, Bob?
That's right. It's his lawyers who are going to be arguing before this three-judge panel, this appeals court here in D.C. at the circuit courthouse. But the president is already in town. He flew in last night to Dulles Airport. We believe he spent the night at his golf resort in Sterling, Virginia. He'll be heading this way because the hearing starts at 9:30. And yes, it is his attorneys who are going to be arguing that the former president is immune from prosecution for interfering with the 2020 presidential election to try and overturn the results, to inspire the insurrection because he was president at the time. And so this is kind of a unique thing, never been really presented before, likely to end up at the Supreme Court no matter how this appeals court rules. But we expect a decision from them in the coming weeks because the trial on these charges, the president was indicted in August. The trial is set for March. It's been put on hold while the president appeals, the former president appeals. Here now is Erica Hashimoto. She is a professor at the Georgetown Law Center.
There's absolutely no history of this, and that's because no former president has ever been prosecuted. That having been said, I think the closest thing was after Nixon left the White House, then President Ford pardoned him. And if there had been no possibility of a criminal prosecution, there would have been no reason to pardon Nixon. And so I do think that that's one example where the government seemed to recognize, and particularly the president seemed to recognize, that there could be the prosecution of a former president for actions he took while in office.
So it'll be a couple of weeks before today's oral arguments lead to a decision by this appeals court. It will likely go one way or the other to the Supreme Court, and all the timing of this. I mean, the trial was supposed to be in March. It's still on the calendar, but the case has been put on hold. The Iowa caucuses, guys, are on Monday. Again, the former president will be here. He wants to be in the courthouse. It has started to rain here, a large police presence, but we don't see any members of the general public as we did when the former president was here for the previous hearing that he attended in person. So we'll see if that changes. We're assuming that from Loudoun County to here northwest, the former president will be making his way shortly.